All right, a good Wednesday, Piedmont Triad. Of course, lots to digest here in the weather department over the next couple of days. So this is a noontime update. If you're watching much later than this in the evening, you might want to seek some more updated information and updated videos. But here's what we have to look forward to over the next couple of days. Still scattered storms continuing on and off for this evening and into our Thursday. But then we start to really turn our attention to what's going to come our way with what is now Hurricane Helene. Helene will move in and out basically Friday morning and midday. So we do have gusty winds, some heavy rain on the way. I would expect some power outages in our area, and we'll also have a tornado risk that we at least need to keep an eye on for Friday too. So we have a lot of rain that's already fallen. In fact, 3 inches close to it of rain has already fallen in the Piedmont so far as we've gone throughout the week. And we have a lot more, maybe 3-4 more inches of that on the way as Helene actually moves in. Now, we did have some rain overnight and early this morning, continuing those storms from last night. That now thankfully has all moved away. We are mostly dry across North Carolina and South Carolina too. That gives us good hope that we're going to be dry for a good while going into this afternoon. But you see what's happening back out to the west, line of rain starting to set up along a stalled out front. And this is really going to start to spell some big time problems, I fear, for our North Carolina mountains over the next couple of days. Here's the setup. A couple of scattered showers and storms still in our forecast for this evening. That cold front approaching and stalling out just to our west. It's going to start creating rounds of rain and almost constant rain that sets up over our mountains tonight, through tomorrow, and through Friday morning and midday as well. We have moisture moving in. It kind of gets banked up along that front, and that helps to actually spark those showers and storms to form. So that's already going to be ongoing as Helene starts to move into our area. So big time rain is likely tomorrow in the mountains, and then we're going to add more on top of that as Helene actually starts to move in. Now for us tomorrow, I only see an isolated shower as we go throughout the afternoon, but we start to see better opportunities for rain as we go into tomorrow evening. And we can have a couple little bands of some heavy rain that move through the Piedmont tomorrow evening, especially late tomorrow night, and then into overnight going into early Friday morning. So that's when I think we're going to see the biggest brunt of this system for us. The heaviest rain, likely the gustiest winds, move our way into Friday morning. I do expect, though, by Friday afternoon, look at this, look at the timing here, I think we're going to start to clear things out and we'll be much calmer heading into Friday evening. So I think our weekend is going to be in pretty decent shape. Here's the latest update as of 11 o'clock this morning. Helene is now officially a hurricane. It has 80-mile-per-hour winds, about 85 miles northeast of Cozumel, Mexico. And you can really see the presentation on satellite starting to get a little more organized. And you see these purples and reds starting to pop up. That's the thunderstorms that are continuing to form and organize around the center of Helene. It's moving out of the Caribbean now into the Gulf of Mexico. You'll notice tons of folks under hurricane watches and hurricane warnings all the way down from near Fort Myers up to Tampa. Of course, hurricane warnings in effect along the Big Bend and Panhandle up to about Panama City. There's even hurricane warnings in effect into Georgia, mostly because of the wind impact that this system will have. And these folks not only are going to get pummeled with rain, we also have to talk about insane storm surge here. So that's when the ocean water actually gets pushed inland. So you add this on top of the amount of rain that these folks are going to get. You'll see some storm surges are forecast to be up around 15 to 20 inches, if not more than that, in some places along the Big Bend here into Tallahassee over toward Gainesville. So these folks are really going to get pummeled, not only with rain, but with all of that water being pushed out of the ocean inland. So it's going to be a really tough situation for folks down along the Big Bend of Florida. Category 1 hurricane now as it moves into the Gulf. It will likely become a major hurricane, Category 3, by early tomorrow morning. And at that point, it will continue to strengthen, likely still a Category 3 with 125-mile-per-hour winds before landfall there along the Florida Panhandle tomorrow evening. It's going to be sitting out over really warm water here in the Gulf. Very weak winds, just all really conducive for quick development for the system over the next 24 hours. Once it comes on to land on the Florida Panhandle, still the thinking here is that it moves to the north, but it will start to make that turn to the north and west. You'll notice this cone starting to shrink too as confidence gets a little higher on where this is going to go. I still remind you, the cone is where the center of the storm could be. So there's still lots of wiggle room to be had here, and impacts are going to be felt far outside of the center of the storm. That's why we're expecting so much rain and wind here in our area as well. So this thing will finally start to move to the north and west and then kind of get stalled out and picked up by another area of low pressure. It'll meander for a couple of days before it finally starts to swing back out as we go into the end of the weekend. Here's what it looks like on Futurecast. You notice those big heavy rain bands starting to move into Florida tomorrow and then tomorrow evening. The storm will come ashore likely by tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Again, our rain is going to start late tomorrow night, so we could even have some bands of heavy rain Thursday evening and Thursday night, but our biggest rain is going to come mostly Friday morning. Look at the timestamp here, Friday at 2, 3 in the afternoon. The worst of it is over for us, and I really think that's rain and wind, the worst of it dying down as we go into Friday afternoon. As we go into the weekend, we really won't see a whole lot in the way of rain or wind. And as far as wind gusts go, I'm still thinking we're somewhere on the order of 30, maybe up to 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gust in the Piedmont. Much higher wind gusts, though, over the North Carolina mountains. Some of these folks could see 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And you factor in the wind with already wet and loose ground and a lot more rain on the way, we could have some power outages across our area. But I really think it could spell big time problems for folks up in the North Carolina mountains. Mudslides, landslides, flooding, all of that I think is going to be on the table for those folks over the next couple of days. Another 2 to 4 inches on top of what we already gotten this week is going to be possible for us by the time Helene finally moves away. And there could be some folks who see another 7 to 10 inches in the North Carolina mountains. All right, so that's why I'm really concerned about those folks in the mountains. Still concerned a bit for us here in the Piedmont. I think we still have some power outages across our area on Friday with that kind of wind and rain, but I do expect there's going to be several folks without power in the North Carolina mountains and likely lasting impacts for a while there as well. Now, as you go east of the Triad, the less the impacts will be. Further east you are, the better you are. Further west you are, the worse off that you're going to be from this storm. And just look how these flooding risks have stacked up across the mountains. This is from tonight through the day tomorrow on Thursday and even into Friday. So a really significantly high flooding risk over our mountains. We're in a level 2 flooding risk for our area here in the Piedmont. So as we go into Friday, we have issued a WFMY News 2 weather impact alert day to keep you on your toes so that you're paying attention, so that you know what's coming our way as we go into Friday. Again, main timing here is morning to midday. Heavy rain and gusty winds are likely, mostly Friday morning to midday. Again, I think it gets better in the afternoon and evening. So what can you do in the meantime? Make sure your devices are charged up. Make sure you have that News 2 app so you can follow along with us and keep checking back for updates on the forecast. Also, if you have patio furniture or lawn furniture, good idea to tie that down or bring it inside because of that gusty wind. And with all the rain coming up, if you can clear your gutters, clear your drains, just prepare for that amount of rain, I think you're going to be a lot better off when we get to Friday and all that rain comes our way. All right, for the rest of today, for our Wednesday evening, we should be warming up to 80 for the afternoon, but we do have to keep an eye out for another round of scattered thunderstorms for the evening hours, mostly after dinner time, but some of those could have a lot of loud thunder, frequent lightning. We could see some really heavy rain again this evening as well, so we'll watch for that. After those storms come to an end, it's a partly cloudy sky, 68 in the overnight hours. Again, your Thursday is really not a bad day of weather unless you're in the mountains. Ongoing heavy rain is likely there. For us, we just see a scattered storm chance in the afternoon. I do think our rain chances go up Thursday evening and Thursday night, though, as we start to see some of that initial rain from Helene start to make it here. For Friday, News 2 weather impact alert day, really Thursday into the overnight period into Friday morning is when we're really going to start to see things ramping up. Gusty winds, heavy rain. We'll also have, again, I want to bring that back to attention, we'll have a low tornado risk that we'll have to watch for our Friday as well. So if you're sleeping, make sure you have a way to get warnings if they're issued for Friday. Things start to improve Friday evening. Our weekend really is not in bad shape. A 20% chance of an isolated shower or storm Saturday, an isolated shower storm possible on Sunday, but we'll get drier and a little cooler as we get into next week. Stay up to date for forecast. We will keep you posted.